I'm in the business of helping people make a change. That's what I do for a living. I help people get past the unconscious blocks that are holding them back. And rather than work like a coach from the top down or doing a lot of talking about things, I help people by working directly with the unconscious mind, making a shift so that they have a new behavior. This is the premise. This is the basis of what NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, is all about. I want to introduce another concept, though, because I think it's really interesting. If you're interested in personal development, if you're interested in making a change and growth, you've probably tried all kinds of different things. And maybe you've been in a situation where you tried making a change because it was for somebody else. I'm going to change for them. I'm going to change for her. I'm going to change because my wife, my husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever wants me to make a change. And probably that didn't work out too well for you. So I'm going to suggest a book if you're into this. It's called Changing for Good. The author is Prochaska, I believe is his name. You can find it on Amazon, Changing for Good. What's neat about this, it's written by 3 PhDs, so don't let that dissuade you from reading the book. But what they did, rather than decide how people do things and then write about it, they actually, here's a concept, they actually studied people who successfully made changes in their lives and then reverse engineered the process to see if there was a common thread and just tried to engineer it down to identify the different steps that these successful changers made. And here's what they came up with. They came up with 6 steps. The first one is pre-contemplation. Pre-contemplation is when everybody else thinks you should make a change, but you don't think you should make a change. You're not even thinking about it yet. Second step is contemplation. You're thinking about it. But in contemplation, most of your thinking is about the problem and being in the problem and what the problem has caused you and what the problem has held you back from doing. The third step is planning. Planning is when you start to think less about the past and a little bit more about the future. Less about what the problem has caused and more about what it would be like to be out of the problem. What it would be like to have a different solution. What it would be like to have a different life, to be a non-problem. So the thinking starts to shift from contemplation and planning from the past more towards the future, which is a really important dynamic when you consider making a change. And then the fourth step is action. Now, here's what most people do. They decide that they're going to make a change, they jump right into action, but they haven't taken the time to create their own plan. They haven't sold themselves on the benefits of the change for themselves for the future. And until you do that, and unless you do that, and it's your plan and you're doing it for you because it's your idea and you want to commit to it, the rest of the actions aren't really going to manifest. They're not going to hold. Okay, think about people going to the gym in January and by February the place is empty. So you have pre-contemplation, contemplation, planning, and then action is the fourth step. The fifth step, they say, is maintenance. This is where you might be in maintenance for the rest of your life. This is where if you're a non-smoker or a smoker becoming a non-smoker, you've cleared the house of all the ashtrays and lighters and all the cigarettes. You've changed your habits. You're not going to the bars anymore. Maybe you gave up some friends, or you stopped hanging out with certain people who were smokers, or gave up drinking, or you went on a diet or an exercise program, and the maintenance is the daily living activities where you're doing this on an ongoing basis. So it's not a diet anymore. Now it's a lifestyle. So you could be in maintenance literally for the rest of your life. And the sixth stage they identify is termination. This is when it has become automatic and unconscious, and it just becomes a new lifestyle. It becomes the, quote, new norm for you. Now, what does this have to do with NLP, timeline therapy? Well, what we found is this, that when people go to make a change, if they still have old limiting beliefs, old negative emotions that are holding them down, it's a whole lot more difficult not only to create a plan that works, but to take the actions that are necessary to move them forward. So the first step that I do with somebody when they want to make a shift is get rid of all the old negative emotions, get rid of all the old limiting beliefs, so they're starting with a clean slate. It's kind of like if you could imagine you're sitting on a nice, placid, nice still lake in a rowboat and you want to row to shore. Well, it's a lot easier if you pull the anchor up or you cut anchor, because if you try to row with all that weight of the anchor snagging what's down at the bottom, it's going to be a very, very difficult task to get back to the shore. And if you think of the anchor as all these negative old limiting beliefs that are unconscious and below the surface, I think you'll understand. So just think about that for a moment, that the fourth step in the process is action. So next time somebody suggests that you just jump right into it, give it some thought. Is it your idea? Is it your plan? Have you gotten rid of all the things that are holding you back? Have you established the resources around you to be able to make the change, take the appropriate action, and most importantly, to be able to maintain that momentum and keep yourself going? I'm George Gillis. You can always learn more at georgegillis.com. Contact me directly at george@georgegillis.com, georgegillis.com, and we'll see you next time.